All right, everybody, welcome back. I'm AJ, and this is Shine Wins, and we are on our second episode of Live, Love, Laugh, the podcast. Thank you, everybody, for joining us, and we just want to send a great big shout out to everybody who supported us and just really showed us some love on that first episode. It was really a long time coming, and when we arrived, we was just so happy to be there, and I hope you guys really enjoyed the show. So, Sean Wins, how are you? How is your day going?
My day is going well, very well, especially now that we're doing the show. This is the highlight of the day. I'm happy to be here, and we get to opine and talk and laugh and all that good stuff. How was your day, AJ?
It was cool. I mean, it's a lot of things going on right now in the news, in the media. You know, we had a couple of RIPs. You know, Angie Stone, she lost her life. And that was, it was kind of crazy to me because I really feel Angie Stone vibe for real.
Yeah, I was into Angie Stone more in the early 2000s. Hadn't really paid much attention to her lately, but certainly condolences to her family. Rest in peace, Angie Stone. We also lost a couple of other celebrities. 2025 it's been hell on some of our celebrities, present and some from the past.
Gene Hackman.
Rest in peace to Chris Jasper from the Isley Brothers.
Wow.
Who else did we lose? Roberta Flack, yeah.
Wow, yeah, that's like going back to my mama day, you know.
Your mama old? She that old?
Is she that old? You better not ask her that. So, my mom's not that old, guys. Let me just say that, because she's gonna watch this. She's gonna ask me, when is the episode coming out? She's just too excited. So, you gonna get in trouble. You're gonna get in trouble. It's too late now. I can't take it back. Mom, you're not old.
I can handle it. But yeah, Gene Hackman. I read that they find his death suspicious.
I thought it could have been like carbon monoxide poisoning or something, because they said even the dog died, like the wife, Gene, and the dog.
They ruled that out. They did a preliminary autopsy and they didn't find any carbon monoxide in their system. So they say it's kind of suspicious. We're going to see what happens, but condolences to his family.
Yeah.
Rest in peace to Gene Hackman. I like Gene Hackman.
I did too.
What's your favorite Gene Hackman movie?
Oh, The Quick and the Dead, hands down. The Quick and the Dead, yeah, with Gene Hackman and Sharon Stone, when she was like after him because he killed her parents or something like that. Yeah. That was my favorite Western movie.
Quick and the Dead.
Yes, I think I've seen it probably about 5 times. It came out way back in the day, so I was a lot younger when I saw it too. So we should go back and watch it.
Okay, we'll check that out. I liked him in Unforgiven. That was a good movie.
Yeah.
Mississippi Burning.
Oh yeah, he was.
He played a good role in that movie.
Is he always mean? Like, he always play those real serious characters.
He's
real
pretty
intense.
Yeah. I liked him in Enemy of the State. Remember that with Will Smith? Mm-hmm. But my favorite one was Crimson Tide.
Oh, that was when he was the submarine.
He was the submarine captain.
Yeah.
With Denzel Washington, and they butted heads.
Right, and he was wrong on it. He was wrong.
Yeah, so
Denzel Washington was right.
Yeah.
You know.
So rest in peace to Gene Hackman.
Yeah, he was a great actor, a legend.
So what else is going on?
Did you see? And I had to breathe like that because, oh my God, did you see Trump and his vice president talking to President Zelensky?
Yeah,
is that his name, Zelensky?
Zelensky, the president of Ukraine.
Yes.
Oh, they talked to him crazy. I never seen nothing like that.
I feel like we must have missed a few things. Like when it first came on, we must have missed a few things because they were saying how disrespectful he was being. And I didn't notice what he said that was disrespectful or anything.
From what I could tell, he didn't say anything disrespectful. He was just kind of challenging some of the things they were talking about, but they talked to him real greasy. I never seen nothing like that from a,
Ever.
head of state. He's a president of a whole country.
Right.
And they talk to him crazy.
And they were like, you being disrespectful and you need to thank the president. And like, basically, like, you want me to get down on my knees or something?
Yeah.
I was a little confused because I didn't see how they let him talk at all. To be disrespectful, you have to be able to speak. And it was like he couldn't even speak. So I was confused about the disrespect thing. And I heard that they just kind of sent him home, like he got sent away. I'm not sure if he left, because there are different stories, like some saying he left and but then there was a post where he was saying thank you to POTUS and thank you to the American people.
Well, after they talked to him bad.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know.
He had no
if I
choice
would've
but to
said
say thank you. That was crazy. So, we're going to follow that and see where that leads.
Yeah. That was
so
crazy.
It was.
I'm not laughing because I thought it was very intense and very disrespectful on our part. You know what I mean? Like to do that. I'm laughing because, oh my God, have you ever seen anything like that?
Never seen nothing like that. Like I said, we're gonna see what it do.
We got a lot of challenges, guys, in America today, and I guess we just gotta be strong, and no matter who our commander in chief is, one of the things that we have to do as people is just stick together. We have to stick together and make life easier for us as a whole.
Yeah, well, we're gonna be all right.
Yeah.
So tonight's show got a good one.
Yeah, we have a good one.
Got a great show, a great guest.
Dr. Monique Brown is coming on today, and she is Friends of the Children. She is the executive director of Friends of the Children. But before we bring out tonight's guest, Neff, he's in the city, the streets tonight, asking Detroiters the question, what does the village still exist? Does the village still exist? That is our thing for tonight. So we got Nev out there. Nev, what's going on out in the community?
All right, thanks a lot, Sean and AJ. Listen, I'm at a fight party right now. Normally, I'll be in the streets of Detroit talking to Detroiters, but I got Detroiters right here at the fight party. So the question. Right now, we're running for the rest of this month. Does the village still exist? So that's the only question I got for you, ladies. Start with you. Does the village still exist? Do you think it still exists?
Absolutely. I'll always be around my black people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you have a village when you were younger, like when 15, 16, and coming up in high school? So tell me about your village real quick. Like, what was your village like? Was it a church village? Was it a village that they just knew my mama and I better act right? Or
A little bit of everything. I had the church, I had the block, I had the school people, I had a little bit of everything. I feel like we all just come together when needed.
that's what's up. So do you still feel like the village
I
exists?
feel like the village definitely exists. My son is 8 months and my village is strong for him.
Good.
They make sure he knows that he has a team behind him, that he is strong behind them, and that they are there with no matter what behind him.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the young youth here in Detroit needed that. I think they still need that. And I think it's very important to have. I think a lot of our elders feel as though that they don't want them or they're not listening, but we have to reach them in the way that they can interpret.
Got you. Well said. Well
Thank
said.
you.
So do you think what do you think can happen for your son who's very small, just starting out in the world? How do you think that we can keep that village around them though?
I feel like he needs to feel love. A lot of the kids go to games or street because they don't feel the love. So if he always knows he got grandma's house, TT house to go to, I feel like he won't have a need to go to the streets or get that love that he's looking for somewhere
that
else.
validation.
Absolutely.
So what are you gonna do so is this your first child?
Yes, this is my first.
So I'm not trying to scare you.
No,
I got like
absolutely.
6 kids. So I'm grown, right? But hey, don't tell nobody. I'm 50. I'm 50, but I am grown. I'm super grown. Yeah, I'm old. So I'm gonna be your daddy for sure. So again, like with just starting out as a mom, what do you think? What are some of the things on top of the dome like that you feel you'll have to do to keep that village around your
Yes,
baby?
absolutely. I'm going to make sure I love on my black son. I'm going to show him I'm not going to hide him from the world. I'm going to show him this is the consequences of your actions. I'm going to show him this is how people interpret you, black son. I'm going to show him that, hey, you don't need these friends if they're not good for you, if they're not doing well. You want to make sure that you show your kids love, that you give your kids direction. My mother didn't shield me. She instead showed me what would happen if you do such and such.
My mom didn't shield me. She showed me.
She showed me.
That's a t-shirt.
If I had a hard question, she answered it. So therefore, I think I'm going to, absolutely. I'm going to make sure I do my all. Every parent is not perfect, but I'm going to make sure I show that black young man that he's going to be great because his mom said so.
Dope. Wow. Any last words from anybody else? Or, because I mean, she really, she just highlighted the whole situation.
Thank you.
Well, what's your name?
Monet.
Monet, and you are?
I'm Key.
And you are? Alexis, Key, and Monet. We want to thank them. Thank you so much for being a part of our interview with Live, Love, Laugh, the podcast. Y'all heard it first here, man. You heard it from a mom, new mom. Let's keep our prayers encamped around about her because she's raising a young black king. So I was fortunate enough to grab some parents, a couple. Y'all married, right?
Yeah.
What's your name?
Kiera.
And your name? D'Angelo and Kiera. They took the time out to give me 2 minutes before they got to pick their kids up. I have one question for y'all. Does the village still exist? You go ahead and start it off for me.
Not at all. Not at all.
So why do you think the village don't exist anymore?
I mean, we discussed it previously. I mean, you can see kids on the block or wherever you call yourself living and correcting that kid that you see doing wrong. You don't know if you got to deal with another set of parents that don't discipline the way you discipline, think the way you think, or raise their kid the way that you would raise your kids. You know what I'm saying?
So do you feel like if you were to say something, it may cause more problems because they don't identify with the village anymore?
Yes, that's correct.
What's your thoughts on it, Kier?
I don't think the community exists, partially because I think the culture of the way the kids are being raised is completely different than us. So you don't see kids outside playing like that anymore. So you don't even know how to identify a child that you belong here, that kind of thing. And I think everybody's kind of just worried about themselves, consumed with themselves, and it is not so much of a community as much as it used to be.
Sad to say, like that's the translation of the village as the community. We lack that. And it's almost like, have we gotten to the place where we almost don't care? Because I mean, I've been guilty of it. When I see a kid sagging their pants, the drawers showing, I want to be like, yo, my man, come on, homie, pull your pants up. But I feel like he gonna cuss me out. He might pull out a gun. He might be listening to that drill music. He about to unalive me because I said pull your pants up. So it's real rough. How many kids do you guys have?
We got 2.
A boy and a girl?
Yeah.
Our son is 9 and our daughter is 4.
Nice. So let's be prepared for their village. I think that we gotta reactivate it. That's what I really feel in my heart.
Oh, our village gonna be all right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you feel me? So y'all got a village, and so I just think that we share our village and the concepts and the dynamics of the village, and try to kind of introduce it or reinduce it back into this generation. They still may have a fighting chance. Well, I appreciate y'all. This is your boy Nev with Live, Love, Laugh, the podcast. Thank you guys so much for taking the time out and giving me this little interview. All right, back to you, Sean and AJ.
Thanks, Nev. Those were some interesting interviews. And that just set us up perfectly to bring on our very special guest, Dr. Brown.
Dr. Deshaun, thanks for coming here today. It's so good to see you. We're very happy to have you.
Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it.
Good. I know, when we were sitting here before you guys joined us back, we were having a conversation about how today is the start of National Women's History Month.
Yes.
Right?
It is.
So that just kind of reminded me, because I've been doing a little research on you, and you were just recognized by the National Women or the Career Master Women for the Diversity Impact Award.
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely.
How outstanding is that?
Thank you.
So tell us what that's about and how you feel about that.
I mean, I feel really good. Like we were, sharing before. I don't do anything that I do for recognition. I do it because it's who I am and what I love doing. At this point in my life, everything from here on out needs to be hard work, and that's what I consider it, just hard work. So I just got recognized by Career Master for the work that I do in the community and helping people. That was essentially what it was, just recognition for what I'm doing and what I've been doing for over 30 years.
Well, good.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
For those of you who are just joining us, this is Dr. Deshawn Monique Brown, and she is the executive director of Friends of Children Detroit.
Yes.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about your position and what do you do for Friends of Children?
So I am the executive director for Friends of the Children Detroit. Absolutely love what I get to do every day. Again, this is hard work for me, something that I just enjoy, working with children, providing them with the resources, the support, the love that they need in order to go forward and be who it is that they were called to be. So I manage and support my team. I have an amazing team of professional mentors, have other staff, of course, operations manager, program director, program manager, the works. But I have an amazing team of professional mentors who support children in their growth and development.
Deshawn, is this a call? How did you get into this line of work? Was this a calling? Was this something that when you were a little girl, somebody asked you, what do you want to do when you grow up? And did you say, I want to help children?
I want to help kids.
Know what?
How did you get into this?
You know what, Sean? It's really interesting. It's truly a calling. We had a conversation the other day and someone brought that up and said, it's not a job, it's a calling. As we were interviewing for professional mentors, the interview candidate said, you know what? I really look at it as a calling, and it really is. It's not something that I wanted to do when I was a kid. I never thought about working with children, but as time progressed, I started being more introspective in terms of my life. And I said, you know what, I really need to give back where I lacked. And that's how this all came about. Growing up in the city of Detroit during the time when crack cocaine was introduced to our community, it was introduced more closely to my family by way of my father. He was a very successful liquor distributor and got kind of caught up in the whole hustle and bustle of being successful. And that was just a part of their experience, dibbling and dabbling in alcohol and drugs. And so he decided to partake, and it totally destroyed our family unit.
Wow.
And it caused us to go from a 2-parent household to now a single parent household with my mother raising 3 kids. And that's what really drew me to this organization, because I see myself in the kids that we serve, right? Many of the kids who come to us have experienced much of what I experienced, growing up with a drug and alcohol addicted father, single family household. The list goes on and on of the ACEs that I experienced. And so again, that's why this is really a calling. Everyone is not, they don't have the capacity to really work with kids. A lot of people don't really like kids, if you want to be honest about it,
Especially
and so
with problems or
exactly
certain issues.
Exactly. And so again, it's a calling, and I just love what I get to do.
So that being said, what is the method that you guys have in finding children with the systemic issues, with those particular poverty type problems?
So the children that we serve every day, they're referred to us either by the school district, by social services, by Department of Health and Human Services. Any youth serving organization can refer a child to us if we have a partnership with them. And they refer them because that child has had at least 2 adverse childhood experiences, which are ACEs. Many of the things that I named. My father was drugs and alcohol. So the kids have had at least 2 of those experiences, but many of our kids have had 4 by the age of 4.
Wow.
So just imagine how much trauma they've experienced. We've had kids who have parents that are incarcerated. We have kids who have witnessed their parents be unalived right in front of them. You talk about trauma.
Right.
And so, of course, many of our kiddos, especially if it's a young man, him acting out in school, he's already, put into this box where he has horrible behavior. Just the list goes on in terms of what they're thinking is wrong with him, never stopping to say, what happened in his life that has him in such an uproar? Well, he saw his father beat his mother.
Right.
Wouldn't you equate that to trauma and him trying to reenact what he saw? You know, because a lot of things are not taught, a lot of things are caught. And so our kids catch a lot of stuff in their households, and a lot of times it's stuff that they shouldn't be seeing. And so that's what typically happens. So the boys are just cutting the food, and then they're saying that you need to be on Ritalin, you need to be on some other type of medication, never really digging deep enough to say, what really happened to that child? And when we have those conversations, when the schools really sit down and get to the bottom of it, they realize that the mom is a single parent household. The mom is not working. She may be struggling, doesn't know how to read. So she's trying to help her son or daughter learn how to read, but she doesn't know how to read. So there you go. They're being stigmatized as, you're a problem child. And it has nothing to do with that. They just can't read because mom can't help them read. So that's how the children are referred to us. And we work with them, pair them with that paid professional mentor. And we call them a professional mentor. I just got this question today. Why do you call them professional mentors? Because they are degreed. They have a 4-year degree. Many of them come from education. They're former social workers, teachers. And we pair that paid professional mentor with a child beginning in kindergarten, 4 to 6 years old. And they walk alongside that child for 12 plus years, no matter what. These are not volunteers. They are salaried individuals starting at $52,000 a year to do. This is what they do every day. And as opposed to them having like teachers have 25, 30 kids, the friends have 8 children that they spend 4 hours a week with. Every week, 2 hours sitting right next to them in their classrooms and 2 hours in the community, exposing them to things that would further ignite the spark in that child. So it's really, again, a calling.
The kids that are referred, is this a response to, are they referred because they act out, or is there, can it be preventative? Like, teacher or an adult, somebody in the school, before the child acts out, do they refer those type of children?
Absolutely.
Children as well?
It's both situations, right?
Okay.
So once a child is enrolled in the school, of course they do a full assessment of that family to see what's your story. And if the counselor has noticed that they've had at least 2 adverse childhood experiences, they refer them to us. Because data shows if that child is a part of our program, that they will graduate high school, that they will not have children by high school, that they will be gainfully employed, and that they will not be a part of the juvenile justice system. But because these children come from certain zip codes, that is what data shows, that they're not going to graduate high school. They're going to be locked up in high school. They're going to have babies in high school, and they're not going to be gainfully employed. So again, if that counselor, even the principal, may notice, I noticed something with Tia. I talked to her mother, and her mother said A, B, C, and D. I think that she would benefit from Friends of the Children Detroit. And then they're referred to us, and they're stuck with us for 12 years. We're not going anywhere. And we love on them, pour into those children because we realize where they came from in those situations that they didn't ask to be put in. It just happened, right? So we're trying to mitigate them being a part of all those, points that I just mentioned to you with prison, having children by high school, not graduating high school.
Well, it sounds like that you guys have a pretty good system where even after the 12 years, I'm not sure how many kids have been through the program, but it sounds like there's a lasting relationship even after, if you're forming that type of a bond with a kid, that you're with them from 4 years old
yes,
to graduating.
Absolutely.
That you would continue to have that relationship with the kid. At that point, you're like a family member.
Yes, a friend.
Yeah, well, yeah,
you're really a friend
you're
at that
a
point.
good friend. Yeah,
Absolutely.
So, do you think that, speaking of data, that because you have a friend who's like exposing you to these different things, I would say dinner, a nice dinner at a restaurant or something, or a museum,
Absolutely.
that these things is what triggers the kid to want to do better or get out of the situation that they've been in.
Yes, it's a relationship. They have grown accustomed to this person being in their lives 4 hours a week, and they get to grow and develop with someone right there with them. And that's the difference, having that consistency. When you're volunteering, I love big brothers, big sisters, but when you're volunteering, it's not on a consistent basis. You may say, I want to do this for a year, and then I need to kind of move on to do something else. That's not the case with Friends of the Children Detroit. We're with them. We're with that family. And here's another thing. We support the family as well. We have one of the only 2-gen models, which is 2-generation models, where we support that caregiver with wraparound services. Coming from education almost 20 years, my first month in education, I had a student, and I talked to him. I'm like, Jerome, what's happening? What's going on? You know, we were having a conversation. He had just got put out of class, and I was an administrator. So I'm meeting with him, and get to make the long story short, I asked to speak to his mother, and come to find out, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, right? So he got a lot of the behaviors from his mother. And once we were able to realize that it's not just him, but it's also his mother, we were able to offer her some wraparound services because she had been beat. She had been left for dead. And so you get the idea of why he was acting out, because he witnessed all this. So how do we support the caregiver who's got just as much trauma as that child does? Because if you don't deal with the caregivers, the cycle will continue to repeat itself, and you're not going to get to the bottom of it because you're not dealing with the source with that caregiver, right?
That was actually my next question. I wanted to ask you, well, how do you support the family? I believe that I read something on your website where there was a father on the website who pretty needed employment or something like that. So you guys go in and help families find jobs, help parents find jobs to take care of the kids?
And it's not just the parents. We have several grandparents who are raising their grandkids. One situation I'm thinking about that really is just near and dear to my heart, the father killed the mother and is serving life. And then we have another family where the mother killed the father and she's serving life. So again, you have grandparents who are taking up the mantle. I'm going to raise my grandchild. So they need support, right? It may be employment, it could be housing, it could be transportation, but we provide food, clothing, whatever they need so that that family can thrive and not just survive.
So you guys are providing a lot.
Yes.
The mentors are salary. You helping kids, their family members. This takes money.
Yes, it does.
So if you don't mind me asking, how are you guys funded? Is it private? Is it public? Is it a mixture of both?
It is.
Okay.
So we get a combination of federal dollars, state dollars, city. We have a lot of individual donors. We have foundations, but of course we need more. You know, at this point, we're at 64 children, soon to be bringing on 80. Our goal in our 5-year strategic plan is 96. But there are more than enough children in Detroit who could benefit from being a part of Friends of the Children Detroit. So it costs money. It's about $21,000 per child to be in this program. So again, there's no cost to the caregiver at all. This is all monies that is coming from the community, which is helping to keep that village together.
Right. So how do you guys put out that call? How do you guys go about advertising or requesting money? How do people help? How can we help?
So you can definitely go to our website. We have a donate page there where you can give. Every amount matters. Every dollar adds up. But we're heavily on social media. We have an annual gala. We have a very, very engaged board of directors, and they advocate on our behalf as well. The funders who support us advocate for us. It's me telling you, hey, we need some funds for this, and you sharing it with your network of folk. But it's word of mouth that really helps us to keep this program going.
This really sounds like an awesome program.
It is.
It's my first time hearing about it. You know, how long has this program been in existence?
So Detroit is only 5 years old, but the organization has been around for 30 years.
Is this a national organization?
It is.
Okay.
It's a national model, kind of like a franchise model. So there are about 42 other chapters all around the world, from Portland all the way New York, you know, There's 42 chapters of us doing this amazing work every day.
Yeah, that's intense.
It is.
And then I also read that you guys support foster kids.
Absolutely. A lot of our children come from foster care.
Wow. So are you are following a child while it's in foster care, meaning being placed with a family or at a foster type facility, or both?
Both. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's very interesting, because a lot of times kids really get lost in the system when they're in foster care. So with a mentor keeping up with them for that period of time, that's better for the child to just be able to blossom, even though, you know, whatever circumstances that is facing in the facility,
right,
you know, or in a home. So
absolutely. And also being able to offer support to those temporary moms, you know, those that have come in to support while the what do they call them, their birth mom is getting themselves together. And then once they're reconnected with the birth mom, we support the birth mom as well to keep it going. We want you to have custody of your child. It's never the design of foster care for that child to be with a foster parent forever. Their goal is to reconnect them with their biological parents. But sometimes there are some struggles with that biological family, and they just don't have the capacity to do it at that time. So you got a temporary foster family that steps in. But again, our goal is to support everyone. Our goal is to make sure that that family has everything that they need to thrive. And many of them, the parents just don't have a job. The parents may not have the skill set to acquire a job. And so we've helped with training. I mean, we help them with whatever their situation is so that they, again, can thrive.
So you mentioned that you guys stay with the child the whole process, the whole time that they're growing up, and that there are many chapters, in, you know, not just Detroit. So what happens when a child moves? Do the Detroit mentors stay with that child, or do they get put with another Friends of the Children chapter?
That's a good question. One of the good things about Friends of the Children is that if they happen to move, they're connected with that chapter, so that they can take advantage of all the resources that are there. We just had a kid to move from here to Texas. So they're connected with the Texas chapter with all the same things that they got in Detroit. They just have a new mentor. But the one thing we know about children is that, of course, they're resilient. Right. You know, they just want someone to love on them, just pour into them, walk alongside them consistently, because they don't have that consistency at home for many of them, especially if you talk about mom has a job, mom doesn't have a job, mom's in the home, dad's in the home, or dad's not in the home. It's so many different variances that children just don't have that consistency, and that's what data is showing about the criticalness of Friends of the Children, just all of our chapters, that one caring, consistent adult being with that one child for 12 years. It's a game changer.
I'm curious. I don't know if it's this question I'm about to ask, if it's relevant or not, but what I do know is in the public school systems, there is lack of black male teachers. Mm-hmm. As far as the mentors in your program, are we finding the same thing, or is it a little more balanced out? Is it, you know, are the black men, are they mentored?
Yes, they are. Yeah. So it's a little more challenging to recruit black males. Okay. But we do currently have 4, and we have 4 females that, you know, mentor the girls. But it is a little bit more challenging because it's not an area that most black men go into. They're more so into technology. You know, a lot of them are just into different things. Engineers, you know, science, technology, engineering, art, and math. Whereas children, again, it's a calling. It's not for everyone. And one of the things that we're finding is some people think that it is for them, but once they get in there, like, no, this isn't for me, because it's really a calling.
What those folks that get involved and they think it's for them and find out that not necessarily for them, what is the feedback you're getting? Why do they come to that conclusion that this is working with children, this is not for me?
So it may not be the working with children component. It could be, well, let me give you one example. We had a young man who was a phenomenal, just an awesome young man, great fit for the program, came from education. He was a former teacher. And the challenge for him was he had too much flexibility. He was used to having 5 classes, 8 to 3 that were already just structured, whereas with our role, you have the autonomy to build your schedule. You have 8 kids that you need to make sure you see 4 hours a week. You get your schedule the way you put it together, the way you want us to put it together. It's not us mandating that you're here from 8 to 3. And he just couldn't grapple with that. He was like, I just can't do this. I just have too much flexibility.
He didn't have enough. He couldn't.
He wasn't
figure it out.
organized. He couldn't figure it out. He was like, I need structure. And he was honest, and I appreciated that. You know, he said, I'm going to be honest with you, Dershawn. He said, I just don't have the structure that's necessary to do my lesson plans, to plan my schedule. When I'm in DPSCD, I know at 8 o'clock I got class 1, 9 o'clock I have class 2. I don't have to plan any of that stuff. All I have to do is show up and execute a lesson.
It's a lot of people like that.
It is. And that's what you find. A lot of folk just can't grapple with it. It's just too much freedom for them.
Right. Do you think, in your opinion, do you think that most of the problems are with girls or boys? What is the demographic that's struggling the most?
I think they're both struggling with different areas. I don't think it's one over the other. I think that there are different challenges for each of them. You know, girls are struggling with identity, right? Girls don't know who they are because they're so into what does the internet say? What does TikTok say I'm supposed to be? That's not who you're supposed to be, you know, but they're so easily influenced because kids are like sponges. They suck up every little thing that they hear, they see, they want to do it. But is that reality? It's not. You know, just like when they're looking at these reality shows, it's really not reality. They're acting.
Right.
But they're taking as, oh, well, she said do this, she said do that, and they just catch on to it.
And what they have.
And what they have, what they look like, how slim they are, how their hair is styled, if they wear makeup. I mean, they just really take on what they see from social media as real, and it's really not. It's not life, you know, so it's different issues for each sex.
I want to follow up on that. Without, you know, you giving up any proprietary secrets or trade secrets or what have you, how do you guys penetrate the TikTok, Instagram, you know, Facebook? I guess the young kids really not into Facebook, but the TikTok and
that's where the old people,
whatever they're into.
Right.
How do you guys get past that barrier? Because that barrier is tall, it's wide, and it is really thick.
It is.
That's a good question.
Constant communication.
Okay.
Constantly, their mentors are having that conversation with them constantly, and really being intentional around letting young people know who they really are, and really just being honest with them. Again, reality is not reality TV. It's a setup. And what we're finding is they're showing them different instances of folk who are following what they see and how they're losing their lives. We've heard about more suicides because I don't look like her. That it's just unreal. So again, the constant conversations, the constant talking to them and helping to build up their confidence and their self-esteem. Because when you're constantly looking at that and you're, you know, weighing yourself against that, you're like, I'm just not measuring up. But who are you really created to be? You know?
Is that one of the things, is suicide an issue in Friends of the Children?
No.
Like you guys deal with stuff like that?
No, we have not had any instances like that. And I think that we can credit it to that one-on-one relationship of us really being connected and really listening to the listening. You know, I really stress to our professional mentors, really listen to the listening, because kids don't really know how to articulate what they're feeling. And so you really got to do some deep diving to really see what are they really trying to tell me. And also having conversations with their parents so that you can see what is it, what's really happening, you know, because you got to dig deep, because they don't really know how to, again, express themselves, right? They may say, you say, well, how was your day today? It was fine. You can't ask closed-in questions. You have to ask open-ended questions so that they can express themselves, right? But it's that constant relationship, really leaning in on a daily basis with your kids and allowing them to just be real. Like one of our mentors has it where the kids have a greeting when they meet him. He has a playlist when they get in the car. They have certain activities that they do. He allows them to call him a nickname that's respectful, but those are relationship builders, right? And so when kids feel confident, they feel like you are there for me. That's how you build a relationship, because kids are already coming to you because they've been disappointed, because there hasn't been consistency. They come to you with a wall up, but it's your role to break that wall down so that they can trust you, because they don't trust people very easily. And kids are very honest. When I was in education, they will point it out. Miss Johnson don't like kids.
And like, they'll let you know, like, why are you asking her? She don't even like us.
She don't even like us. She sits at her desk all day, doesn't get up and, engage us. Kids are very honest. And so they can read you like a book. So you better come correct. And so our mentors, one of the benefits of them having lived experiences, they can relate. It's nothing worse than having someone in front of kids who cannot relate. They're like, I don't know what she's talking about, and she don't know what I'm talking about. You never want that to be the situation, because again, kids come to you already broken, and so they need someone to really love on them, right? And so you got to get to the bottom line.
Now, speaking of bottom line, so there was something I really wanted to get into with you, the generational poverty. So how do we begin to break that cycle of generational poverty?
You break the cycle by having that one caring, consistent adult who's walking alongside that child for 12 years, no matter what. Just because you were born in a zip code that has counted you out, for example, Brightmoor. Many kids come from that zip code. They come from River Rouge, which is looked down on because of the dynamics of their cities, right? Because you live in that zip code, society has already said that you're not going to make it. Period. You got a single family household. That person is not working. They're on aid. You don't have an automobile. I mean, the list goes on and on. So because that is your environment, society is saying that you are not going to make it. So how do we flip that around? We get you connected with a mentor who's with you for 12 plus years, no matter what. That's how you break generational trauma. And again, you're not just working with that child, you're supporting that caregiver with wraparound services, because it could be, I don't have enough money to put food on the table.
Right.
My kid hasn't eaten in a couple of days. How do you expect them to be thinking about English
when their stomach
is growling? So you got to support that family with those wraparound services. That's how you break generational poverty.
Is it anybody that helps with like financial planning or anything for the family?
Yes. So we have a different series, different topics that we work with the caregivers on, and one is financial literacy. One of the things we're finding is that families just don't know how to budget. But let me say this: if I only have $20, what am I budgeting?
Nothing to budget.
I'm like, I have that problem sometimes myself.
Right. So how are they budgeting $20?
Right.
That's not even enough for dinner.
Right.
So when you talk about that, it's really repulsive to them, because they're like, I'm living minute to minute. I'm not living paycheck to paycheck. I'm living minute to minute. How am I going to feed my kids tonight? Right. So again, financial literacy, you have to position it in a way that it's a conversation that they want to have, that's not financial literacy. You talk about things that they want to talk about, and you kind of slide it in there a little bit, because that's not their focus. I have $100 every week. What am I budgeting?
Right.
It's nothing to budget.
It's nothing to budget. So talk to me about how I can increase my earnings.
Right.
Then we can talk about that budgeting stuff. Right. Because that's not top of mind for me right now. I need you to talk to me, help me find a job, which we did for one of our caregivers. She came to our open house last year. One of our partners overheard her talking about she was looking for employment. The partner said, "You looking for a job?" I'm sorry, I was ear hustling. But you looking for a job? She was like, "I am." And he said, "Do you have a resume?" "I do." He said, "Can you get it to me immediately?" She got the resume to him the next day, had an interview within 2 days, hired on the spot at that interview. She is now one of the managers of her own store.
Oh, is that awesome?
Wow.
Yes.
So, and then she recently she just got her own house.
Okay.
So she's providing a stable household for her family. That's what I'm talking about. Now we can talk about some financial literacy
Now
because
there's
I have
something to
something.
budget.
It's now
Yeah.
something to budget,
Yeah.
right? So those are the types of success stories that we have because these families are with us. Again, I always tell them, you stuck with me for 12 years, no matter what. What's it, 7 years from now is what? 2030? 7 and 4?
2037. Yeah.
Or 32?
12 years from now.
7 years from now.
Oh, 7 years. Okay, yeah. 20.
32.
You see, I'm
2032.
quiet. I'm not real good.
2032. I know
yeah.
it sounds like it's a long ways away, but 7 years is closer than you could imagine. I mean, we just came from January. It's March
Right.
1st today.
Yeah,
So you
absolutely.
have children that you mentor as well.
I do through my own nonprofit, but not through Friends of the Children Detroit.
Okay. So speaking of that, some years back, my daughter went to a program that you had called "You Are the Gift."
Yes.
So, do you still do that? And
I
tell us a
do.
little bit about that because
Yeah.
I do have another child coming along
I
who
know.
I would love to send through that awesome program. Can you
Thank
tell
you.
us about that?
So You Are the Gift started when I was fresh newbie in education. The principal approached me and said, hey, we've got a couple of girls who are just doing some stuff that is just unimaginable. It was in the newspaper. They allowed the sports team to kind of have fun with them. And so the principal was like, I really need you to talk to them. The girls seem to love you. And so I said, of course, okay, I'll do it. And so I met with those kids, and one of the girls told her sister at another school. The principal called me, asked me to facilitate that program at her school, and it just grew from there. Started out as an after-school program, turned into a week-long camp, which you're talking about at Michigan State. Of course, when COVID hit, we had to put that on ice. And we attempted to do it last year, but then there was that shooting at Michigan State last year where we had to
Right.
pause it again. And so hopefully we'll be able to bring it back on deck next year, and then your daughter can participate. But it's a wonderful program. Again, going back to identity. Who are you? You are the gift, regardless of what society says, regardless of what your family tells you you are or are not. You're the gift. You're valuable just the way that you are, and everything that you need is on the inside of you. Just tap into the inside.
And we have that motto now. We have adapted that motto in our house. Like, you
Good.
are the gift.
That's right.
You know, this is real. That come out of my mouth real
Good.
slick and easy when I'm talking to the girls.
Good.
You know what I mean? So I really appreciate that program. So I'm glad that you still have it because I think at the end of the day, it really, because my daughter, she was very introverted. Okay, very, very introverted. And she went to this camp, and next thing you know, I got videos where she's the live wire.
Oh, yes.
I'm like, what?
She
was
received
the
an
live-
award
Right.
for live wire. Yes.
So it really opened her up, and then she got to talk to other girls, you know,
Yes.
around her age, and just really find out the method to making friends. And you know, she's still, after the program, you know, was a little introverted, but 11th grade came. She's a senior this year.
Yes.
So 11th grade came, and she said, Mom, I'm making friends, and you know, she really blossomed. And I think that was the beginning.
Good.
That was a turning point for her, you know, when she did that program. So
Yes.
I've always appreciated that. I can't wait till my now 10-year-old
Yes.
is old enough to go to the camp or even do some mentoring things. I mean, we have tried our very best to make sure that there are no adverse situations, crazy situations that they have to fight. But I think that kids need a mentor outside of their
absolutely.
parents because some things your kids might not tell you.
A
They
lot
will
of things
talk-
your kids will not tell you.
Right, but
Yes.
they'll talk to somebody else who's relating to them, who's connected with them. So this work is very important that you're doing.
It
So,
really is. Thank you. I really have to agree with you that it's really important work. It's so hard out here now with kids and all that they're exposed to, everything that they see, the influences. So for them to not have someone that they can go to and talk to, it really puts them in a bad position. It really makes them look inward and really listen to those voices that they're hearing from TikTok, from
Right.
Snapchats, or whatever they're doing.
Right.
I don't know all
And
this
that's
stuff.
why they don't talk to us. 'Cause
Exactly.
we don't know how to pronounce they little snap chops.
I don't know what it's called, but though that thing there when they're scrolling, just
Right.
scrolling. They're just so connected to that. So if you don't have a relationship with them, it's really going to be hard to really penetrate their hearts. So I just say, like we did with You Are the Gift, we just planted seeds. And any seed needs to be watered, and you all have done that so beautifully with Lyric. And it's just imperative that parents realize that they hold the power, but some of them may not have the capacity to do it alone, and so we walk with them as well, and they so appreciate our support and helping them in the total family.
You just answered a question that was swirling around in my head. Human nature is, when you're used to doing something or you got a habit, somebody comes along, show you something different. We have a tendency to kind of push back, so with the children that you guys are mentoring, are you getting any pushback from the parents, or are they fully cooperating? What's the
fully
story
cooperative? We have gotten no pushback. The parents are actually more embracive than we thought. We're thinking that they would think, you're trying to come in and take my place, you're trying to be the mother, and we are very clear up front, unequivocally not. We're here to support you. We're here to be an extension of you. Whatever you say goes, we say what you say.
To be a friend.
To be a friend. So we're not trying to take your place. We're just trying to be an support to you. So the parents are more than gracious. They don't have to pay a dime for this program. We provide them with gift cards for gas, for Thanksgiving meals. We love on them just like we love on the kids. So I just couldn't imagine a parent saying, I don't want to be a part of that. They're like, what else you got? How else can we help you? So they're very engaged. And the kids, of course, they come to you kind of, a little standoffish. But we've given our professional mentors the tools to be able to break through that. And one of those tools is being authentic with kids, because they can, again, tell when you're not being authentic with them. And they'll let us know. I've only had one kid to say, you know what, they're kind of going through some stuff right now and blah, blah, blah. And come to find out their parent had passed and they didn't share that, but they were just kind of into themselves, kind of went inward, and the kid didn't understand what was going on. And so once they were finally made aware, oh, that's what happened, then the kid could love on them more. And it was just like so beautiful how it happened. They were like, oh my God, I'm thinking I'm mentoring them and loving on them, and they just came and loved on me. So it's a two-way street. We think that kids are always learning something from us, but I always go into every experience with the mindset, I want to walk away from here learning something from them too. I know that I'm older, I'm grown, but kids can teach you stuff too. And I'll give you a scenario. I was at work one day and I was hungry. I was hungry as a hostage.
Right? That's hungry.
I was hungry. And so my one of my faves was there, Geneva. And I said, you know what, Geneva, I'm starving. I'm getting ready to go get me a burger and some fries. And she was like, Mr. Sean, you shouldn't do that. She was like, you need to make healthier eating choices.
How did that make you feel?
I was like, did she really just check me?
Right.
And she did, but that's one of their core assets, healthy eating choices. And so that got me straight real quick. And so I told Geneva when I saw her the next time, I said, Geneva, I just want you to know that what you said to me the other day, it really resonated with me. And I went and got a salad, and I want to thank you for encouraging me to eat, make better eating choices. And she was like, I'm so glad that I could help you.
Right, because I was going to ask you, what did you end up eating? Did
I had a salad. I didn't get the burger. I got it because she was right. I knew I was hungry, and I was just tasting that burger. But I know that that's what we teach them, to make healthy eating choices.
And then you found out that they're learning.
Exactly.
And they're listening.
Exactly. And that I could learn something from her. Right? Not that I'm too grown. Like, I'm not listening to her. She's 8 years old. I was like, wow, she just made great sense.
Right. And that's one of the things, because I had talked about at a time I did want to be a foster parent. But then I would think about how you make those connections, and then the goal is to go back to your parent. If you can go back to your parent, that's the goal. So I was always too afraid to get close to a kid and then have to say goodbye. And I guess that this would be a good program to be involved in if you were a person like that who always wanted to take on a child. And, you know, maybe you might have the feelings that I had. You know, I didn't want to bond with this child and then I had to let it go. But this way you get to be a friend of that child and stay in their life for, I mean, I can't imagine that you with them for 12 years and then you never talk to them again. Right. Because that's, you know, at that point it's a bond. Exactly. It's a serious connection. Maybe this child came to you for, you know, cried on your shoulder or, you know, came to you for some type of guidance that they couldn't go to anybody else for. I can imagine that you would then say goodbye and never see that kid again or that now adult, young adult for, you know, for the rest of the time. So, I mean, I think this is wonderful. This is a wonderful program that you can just stay connected with the kid once you make that bond.
It's a beautiful thing. It really is. And I know Detroit's only 5. We have not graduated our first class yet. And so all I can do is really glean on the other chapters that have had graduations. But from what I've heard, that relationship never ends. You know, they watch those kids graduate high school, graduate college. They help them gain employment opportunities. I mean, it's like, again, it's a relationship. This is kind of like your kid. And some of them call them aunties and uncles. And they're like, you are part of my family when they have weddings, when they have, you know, they're invited to those types of things. Even now we had a young lady who got baptized a couple of months ago. And they called the mentor and said, I want you to be a part of this experience. It's like, that's humongous. Right. That's like real personal. Like if I don't know you, I'm not inviting you to my child's baptism. Right. You know, but they said I want her to be a part of this because she's like family. That spoke volumes to me. You know, and that's how our families look at us, as an extension of their family. We're family.
And it really says that you made the connection that you were trying to make. It says a lot about that. That organization, that we actually make the connections that we set out to make. So that's a really big deal.
It is.
When will Detroit have its first graduating class?
7 years from now. What do we say? 2032.
So 2032. Okay.
2032.
Right.
Yeah.
Look, it took me about 20 minutes to come up with a number, and then I forgot again. I'm not very good at math.
I wasn't either. I was an English major.
Right.
But yeah, 2032, we're looking forward to it. The board is excited. My staff is excited. And it's going to come by so fast. But just to see them just grow and mature and just go off to do some amazing things when society had counted them out, that makes my heart really happy. I'm like, okay, I'm really doing hard work. And that's what gets me excited every day. I tell my staff that on Sunday nights, I'm excited about Monday morning. I'm looking forward to Monday morning. Like, yes, what we going to do this week? Unlike other jobs where you're like, I gotta go in there tomorrow, like for real.
Right.
Oh my God. I don't feel like that. I'm excited that I get to do this work because I'm touching and changing lives.
I guess they say when if it's something you love, it's not work.
It's not. It really is not work. And I've been doing this. Like when I saw the advertisement for the job, I'm thinking they pay people to do this. I've been mentoring for 20 years and ain't got a dime, but they're paying people $52,000 to mentor kids. This is
so it's like a call. It was like God gave that to you.
Yes.
Like, take this. You've been doing this for so long.
Yes.
Let me help you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And I said the same thing. I was like, okay, Lord, I see what you're doing. It's so funny. I'm always looking for those winks, those God winks. And one of the things that hit me the other day is the office number to my office is my birthday.
Really?
Yes.
Did you play that in the lottery?
No, I don't play the lottery. I go to play like the slots. I got $20, and when that $20 is gone, party is over.
You gotta play it. You gotta play the number. Your birthday is the number to your office. I've always thought when it's something crazy like that, like if I'm on an elevator and my floor is 7. And that's the month of my birthday or something, and I get off and I'm going to room 20.
Right. You
I gotta play that. And the lottery 720.
Right.
That's my birthday. It's like those are signs. You should play it. Okay. You might win. Okay. And then you can help the friends of the children.
Absolutely. Yeah, that would be awesome. That's my heart. I would really like to be able to just drop a large sum of money there because I know it's going to great great work. You know, I know my team really is about that life. As they say, we're about this life.
Right.
And I love it. And so I just need more folk to have the same commitment. We're looking for professional mentors. We're actually bringing on a new cohort in May. So I'm going to be looking for a male mentor or a female mentor because they're, you know, paired based on sex. And again, it takes money to do it, you know.
Well, tell us again, what's the website that they can go to, that we can go to donate?
Sure. Go to friendsdetroit.org. Again, friends, that's plural, FRIENDS, Detroit, DETROIT.org, and donate today. Share it. If you have, I know that different organizations, your companies may have a giving program. They say we'll match it. You give 500, we'll give 500. So there are all kinds of ways that you can make your giving really impactful.
Dershawn, is money, cash, is that the only donations y'all accept? We accept clothes, food?
We don't, unfortunately,
Okay.
we don't,
Okay.
because we don't have the space for it.
Gotcha.
What we do is just tap into the families. If they need something, we'll connect them with those types of resources. But we're a very small operation, so we don't have like a pantry, clothes closet, things of
Okay.
that nature. We'll just actually connect them with that resource. So really, financial support is the biggest help that we need. Because we've got a long wait list of families waiting to get their kids in the program.
Gotcha.
And so again, it costs $52,000 to bring on a friend, and it's about $21,000 per child that's in the program, because that's their transportation to get them, you know, to their activities, meals, supplies. It encompasses all of that.
Well, Dr. Deshawn, I want to tell you, if nobody else has told you this year, this month, today, this century, I'm so very proud of you.
Thank you.
I am so very, in honor of Women's History Month, I do believe that you deserve any awards and all awards that you've been nominated for and given.
Thank
Okay,
you.
because you are doing some amazing work, and a lot of people don't just go out and commit their lives to helping children. And I know that you've been doing this for a long time, so it's really an honor to sit here and talk to you. And those children that you're working with, they are really some lucky kids to have you. So good work.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. Look. It's a sister, y'all. It's a sister doing the work. So
Yes.
we thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
I want you to just tell us one more time. I know at the risk of sounding redundant, I don't want anybody to miss this. If you just tapped in or if you took a break and walked away for a second, one more time, can you just let us know where we can help? How do we donate, and how do we give to Friends of the Children?
Absolutely. Go to friendsdetroit.org. It's plural, FRIENDS, Detroit, DETROIT.org. Click that donate button. Whatever you give will just make such a great impact with the families that we serve. They so deserve it. Our kids deserve it. You know, I am a part of this village that is stepping up. You know, everyone's always talking about the problem. What are you doing to solve it? I know that the work that we're doing is solving the problems that we have in the city of Detroit, and I want to do more of it, but it's going to require everyone chipping in and really helping to move this mission forward. And we're going to break generational poverty one family at a time with your support. So friendsdetroit.org, make your donations, and we greatly appreciate it.
Yep. And there you guys
There you
have
go.
it. Yeah. So the village does still exist,
It
right?
does, absolutely. It's intact. It's in full effect, as
Right.
you guys can see tonight.
Even when you don't think so, even at our worst, there are people that's out there being at their best, helping our kids. And Friends of the Children Detroit, I mean, we got to say it loud and proud, because you know who's in Detroit. The main people, the main bodies living in Detroit are our children, our inner city children, black children. Let's go out there and just say that there are black children out there that need your help and support. And we just want to thank everybody who's now aware of the situation and want to step out on faith and help some kids, and like she said, it's professional mentors. So if you have a degree and you've always been thinking about serving children or wanting to be in education, or you're a counselor, social worker, give them a call and go ahead and do something that you always wanted to do and never did it before. This is the opportunity to be a friend to the children.
Absolutely. You want to step up, y'all. It's the only thing to do. It's the right thing to do. And these babies, they need our help.
Yeah.
They need the village.
Yeah.
Well, it's the first week of March. And as we head into spring, Nev wants y'all to join him in losing a few pounds off that waistline. Nev, what you got for him?
I need to lose a few pounds. Come on, Nev. What you gonna tell us to do?
All right, everybody. What's up, fellas? Listen, it's your boy Ned with Live, Love, Laugh podcast. This is the month of March. We are right here at the beginning of it, and we're doing a watermelon cleanse. So I'm not going to give you all the details and the benefits of what watermelon can do just yet. But today, I'm going to show you what I do when it's watermelon time and it's time to lose some weight. We're going to lose about 50-some pounds, y'all. If y'all ride with me, I'm not challenging y'all. I'm inviting you to join me. Just to my fellas. Now, ladies, you can join too. We're not discriminating, but I'm really just concerned about the brothers out there, making sure we're staying healthy and living our best life. So join me on this journey. I'm starting it right now. I'm going to show you how to make a smoothie that I make with the watermelon in it in the beginning of the day and the end of the day. And I'm going to show you how to make a quick wrap with just using a salad. It costs about $2.95 at Meijer or Walmart. If you live in the Michigan area, you know what Meijer is. But Walmart has these two for $2.95. We'll wrap this up. We out the door starting our day. I will tell you, during this, we're going to do 30 days. We're going to check in every 30 days and see how far we can go. Last time I did a watermelon cleanse, I did 120 days. So I'm going to see how far we can go. But every 30 days, we'll check in and see what we can do. And it's not all that you can eat, okay? But I'm going to just do salads and watermelon. And I'm not going to eat after 6. So 12 p.m. to 6, that's going to be my meal time. But my breakfast is going to be 1/2 of the watermelon that I cut in half to start my day off with. 1 watermelon per day. Nice size, maybe 8 big. Not those little stupid grapefruit looking ones. I'm talking about a pretty medium sized one. Cut that in half, eat that as my breakfast, or put it in the blender as a smoothie, which I'll normally do. And then after the 6 o'clock hour, I'll eat the other half, probably no later than 9 o'clock p.m. if I'm lucky, based on my work schedule. But yeah, I just want to get on here and invite you to join me on another watermelon cleanse. This time we're going to document everything. We're going to talk about the benefits. We're just going to go on this journey together. So I'm glad you guys are watching because it's go time. All right, let's get to it.
Watermelon, huh? Thank you, Nev. Who knew? You know what? That's the thing that, people always been saying that we have in common. We love us some watermelon. So why not? If that's all it takes.
I guess so. You going to try it?
You going to try it, Dr. Deshaun?
I will.
All right. Well, let's do it. We're going to talk about it and we'll be back briefly. We want you, before we go away for a second, we want you guys to please subscribe to YouTube to hear our podcast, Live, Love, Laugh, the podcast. Don't forget to do that, because I know you're watching now, but you haven't subscribed yet.
Y'all need to subscribe.
Right. We see the viewers. We see that you guys are paying attention and you like our show. So just go ahead and click that subscribe button so that we can get you guys, not missing anything.
Well, as we close out the conversation about our children, it was a great conversation. We got a lot of good, insightful information. Thank you, Deshaun. We'll have a special guest next week, Naquan Hardy. You don't want to miss this conversation next week. Make sure you tune in. Again, y'all better subscribe to this channel so we can keep this good information and these great guests coming.
That's right. So we've had a great time with you guys tonight. Just remember that we always going to be here with you. We're not ready to leave yet. We just got started. We want to stay on track. We want to live, love, and laugh with you guys. So again, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. and Patreon.
Especially YouTube.
Especially YouTube. I had one question for you guys before I go. I forgot about this. But have you ever been ghosted after the first date?
Uh-oh.
You know, I have, let me just admit this, I've done a little ghosting. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see both sides of the story. But have you ever been ghosted? And, I mean, it's cool if you have. We want you guys to contact us, give us a call, send us an email. Go on Live, Love, Laugh, the podcast. Ghosted at livelove.laughthepodcast.com and give us the details. We'll reach out to you and share your encounter on our show. We can't wait to hear about it. Maybe you want to blast me out for doing some ghosting, but I will tell you guys why I did it. So again, that's ghosted at livelovelaugh.com, and we're going to help you guys figure out what happened. That's our show.
Peace out, y'all.
Every child has a spark. It is hopeful and bright. But obstacles and systems beyond the child's control threaten that spark. Friends of the Children is a national nonprofit organization that helps each child find their spark and grow it into a flame through the power of relationships. Children are paired with a friend who will guide and support them through their whole childhood, from kindergarten to graduation, 12 plus years, no matter what. Friends are full-time salaried professional mentors who work with each child on 9 core assets of personal strength, addressing and overcoming real obstacles and supporting their entire family every week, every month, every year. And for over 30 years, we've seen Friends Youth achieve big goals through our evidence-based model. 83% graduate high school, 93% avoid the criminal justice system, 98% wait until after their teen years to become parents, and 92% enroll in post-secondary education, serve our country, or enter the workforce. Ultimately, each child grows their spark into the biggest and brightest flame, which has ripple effects to their siblings, peers, neighbors, and also their children, breaking generational cycles. Harvard Business School Association of Oregon estimated that each dollar invested in Friends returns $7 to the community, saving the United States around $900,000 per child. Friends of the Children is growing rapidly thanks to the power of relationships. One friend, one child, 12 plus years, no matter what. Will you join us?